Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and this is going to be a very special collab review here. Of course, I did end up seeing the film Smallfoot. I have been planning on reviewing it on my own, but fuck!
Kevin,
What?
how many live streams have you done now?
Almost every single one. But this boy here has actually also seen this movie. I know it's shocking. He saw a new release before me, actually. I know that's crazy. But here he is eating some really great soup. Very excited to talk about this movie, Auburn Wanderer.
I just wanted to say, this little Dark Knight, little can of thing above it, it's very nice.
Yes.
Yeah, so I am eating soup. Because people are wondering, it's chicken noodle with like carrots and some other shit.
Oh, really?
Good shit. But we are here
Yeah,
today.
it's gonna help you in the Arctic.
It is. It is gonna help me in the Arctic.
Yes, but anyway.
So yes, we're here today to review the movie Smallfoot, and we're doing a collab review on this for one reason only. Kevin hates basketball, and I have basketball, and LeBron is in this, and that's why we're doing a collab review.
Okay. To be fair, I don't hate LeBron. I actually think LeBron is quite talented as an actor. I really loved him in Trainwreck. Every other movie he's been in, I've really enjoyed. So I don't hate LeBron. I just don't particularly enjoy sports. You guys know me. Anything sports related, it just automatically takes me out of it. For example, I saw a poster for Student Athlete yesterday on HBO, and I'm like, oh shit, that looks really dope. Then I saw produced by LeBron James. I'm like, nah.
Fuck you. That's a great poster, by the way.
You know, that's just it is, but that's just how my mindset works. But we're just gonna get into it now. Of course, if you don't know the plot of Smallfoot, what the movie's essentially about is basically we center on a bunch of Yetis. They live in this world where they're basically told that they have to constantly spin this wheel and things like that. And the main character here is Migo. He is someone who he's kind of trying to find his purpose in the world. There's like this gong that he really wants to ring, and eventually he becomes entangled with this human known as the Smallfoot, which was known to be extinct in this world basically. And so the rest of the film is Migo trying to figure out what to do with the Smallfoot. Should he tell everyone about it? What the consequences are really going to be? And that's really the film we have here now. I'll just say right off the bat, going into this, I was kind of conflicted with this film. There were things about it that I thought, okay, that sounds really cool. It could be a really fun movie. I really like the cast here. But the trailer just made it look kind of whatever. It didn't really look like anything offensively bad. And, it didn't really look like anything that necessarily was going to annoy me. But it just didn't really look like anything that great. It looked like a very standard kids movie. I'm always down for anything that Channing Tatum does, but just overall, I didn't really think it looked like anything that amazing. The animation definitely looked very good, but I really did not know how it was going to be going into it. And I will say, this film surprised me. Smallfoot is not an amazing film or anything like that, but I did enjoy it. It's a pretty good kids movie that I do think is a little bit better than it has, than it has any right to be. And I definitely did enjoy it a lot. On the other side of things, we have Auburn, who feels completely differently.
This movie's a masterpiece. This is the greatest film I've ever seen.
Yes.
I love this movie. Okay, now, get into my real thoughts. This movie is really bad. Not only is this movie extremely obnoxious in the worst way possible and completely annoying and fucking boring, it's just fucking stupid. Okay, okay, look. The only positives I can say about this fucking film is that I think the cast, like the voice cast, seems like they care. There's some good performances. Like I think Zendaya is pretty good. I think Channing Tatum is pretty good. Obviously, LeBron should win the Oscar. But besides that, it's like, I mean, some of the songs are decent. Like I like the one by Common, I like the Zendaya one, but like every other fucking thing in this film, there's just like nothing special. There's nothing about it that, like, when I look back on the animated films that came out this year, I'm gonna be like, oh, Smallfoot, man, that was quite some film. No, this film was fucking just it's just stupid to me. I don't like the story. I think it's fucking boring as shit. Okay, and the animation isn't even that good in my fucking opinion. And look, I saw this film. I saw this film almost like 2 weeks ago, and to be honest, I don't remember most of it. And yeah, but I'm not going to say much more. I just want to get into Kevin's. Yeah.
All right. So for me, I will definitely agree with you that it's not the most original film. However, I do think it does a good job of telling its story. But going back to what you said, the cast here for the most part is really great. Channing Tatum continues to give really great performances as the character of Migo. I really did like his character a lot. You know, he's very rootable, and I thought he did a really good job. Zendaya, I thought, was very good here, as you mentioned. Common really surprised me here. I thought he was honestly really good in this film. I really like what I had to do here. Gina Rodriguez is pretty good. Most of the cast here is good, except for James Corden. And James Corden,
my God,
he is, in fact, the weakest link here. I don't think he was necessarily terrible. I just think that he was a bit miscasted here. The role in general, it just didn't really fit for him. He was way too over the top. The character himself of Percy, it can work. Like, I'm not saying this character can't work. There's definitely ways to make this character work. The problem is Corden just makes it come off a bit disingenuous, especially Percy's turnaround towards the end of the movie. It just doesn't seem very believable. I don't think Corden is a terrible actor or anything, but I just really don't think he was the right person to pull off this role. Other than that, I really do like the cast here a lot. Let's get to the directing here, because I do actually think the directing here was quite better than I was expecting, because it's not just your standard kids film. Sure, it does have a lot of fun moments, but I really wouldn't consider it a comedy. You know, there are a lot of laugh out loud moments, but it's much more of a it's much more of not necessarily a serious drama, but it's much more its own thing, where a lot of it is, you know, trying to question the species, and they don't know if it really does exist. And I do think that the tones were pretty well blended here. There were some moments that I thought were well done emotionally. You know, it didn't make me feel emotional, but I did think it was well done. I thought some of the comedy was all right. You know, the laughs weren't as consistent as they could have been, but there were some things that I did find to be a lot of fun for sure. I did think that, like I said, you know, towards the back half, the movie actually does do a very good job of getting you invested in the story. And I thought that the directing, for the most part, was pretty good. The writing, though, is actually what really impressed me here. Because, like I said, the film is not exactly original. You know, we've seen this concept done 1,000 times where, oh, there's this unknown species, and, you know, they try to figure out what to do with it. It's kind of like Monsters, Inc. in that way, where they weren't really exposed to humans, and they're kind of trying to figure out what to do with it. And the same thing here. The difference is Monsters, Inc. has way more depth to it than Smallfoot, but I'm not really going to compare the two, because I do think this film does a relatively good job of fleshing out this world. The world building in particular, I thought, was very strong here. You know, we get the sense that, oh, there are these stones, and basically whatever the stones say is what's right. You know, nobody really questions it. Nobody really does anything about it. And you can make a lot of parallels to other religions going on where, oh, you know, this is what happened and no one really ever questions it because that's just the case. And Smallfoot is trying to say that maybe you should question it. Maybe that isn't, you know, what's actually going on. I do actually think that was a pretty strong message overall. And I do think the film, you know, I was not expecting it to really go there, but I do think they did a good job with fleshing that out. And like I said, you know, I did like the whole mythology. I thought the buildup was quite strong. Where the film does falter for me is whenever we cut to the human world, which the human world in comparison, it just isn't nearly as strong as everything going on with the Yetis. Because the Yetis in general, there's like a lot of detail to them. You know, we really do get a good sense into who Migo is, that, you know, he's someone who's trying to find his purpose. And I thought they set that up pretty well. I like that story. You know, I like the relationship between him and his father, who I can't think of who played his father right now, but I know he did a very good job as well. When we get to the human world, we're telling a bit of a different story here, because Percy, you know, he's someone who, he's this reporter. He has like this sort of like show on, like, say, Animal Planet, on something like that, where he encounters all these various species. And obviously it's all a hoax. Like, none of it is true. None of it is actually happening. And there's a lot, again, that's something that you can make a lot of parallels towards. There's a lot of shows out there that are hosted by a bunch of phonies, such as Percy. And, you know, when their ratings aren't really all that great, Percy wants that one thing that is really going to put them on top. So he decides that he's literally going to have his co-star dress up as a Yeti and basically try to, scare everyone away, make everyone think that Yetis are real. And subsequently, he does become intertwined with Migo. And look, again, the setup here is pretty good. It's just the character of Percy overall, it just didn't really work for me because the character in theory, I do like the idea that this is someone who he's very selfish and he really only cares about ratings, and eventually he does grow a heart. And when he eventually gets to that shift, it just did not really work. It felt very rushed, and that's really my biggest thing with this entire film is that it does feel very rushed. A lot of the ideas, they don't feel as explored as they could have been, especially once Percy goes into the Yeti world. It felt like he was there for like 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden he was accepting the Yetis. And maybe that's not the case, but it very much did feel that way for me. It didn't really feel like they gave as much time to that side of the story as they really could. And I just didn't really get the sense why Percy all of a sudden cares about these Yetis now. He has one interaction with Zendaya's character, and suddenly they're like buddies, and it didn't really work as well as I think it could have. And I do think they could have given a lot more depth towards Percy. That being said, you get here, I do overall enjoy. I like the whole idea where, like I said, there are these stones, and Migo wants to prove to them that no, Smallfoots are real, and we see the consequence of what happens there. I think that was definitely very well done. So yeah, story-wise, again, it's nothing special. It's nothing you've seen done before. And I will say the film is extremely predictable. Like there isn't a single thing that happens in this movie that I can say, oh, I didn't see that coming, or oh, I didn't expect them to go there. Like there's really nothing here that honestly was all that unpredictable. The only thing I will say is that the film kind of sets up this potential antagonist, and I'm like, okay, I really am interested in seeing what they're going to do here. And then they don't really do that. He doesn't really become an antagonist, and I was hoping they could have maybe done something with this character that was just a bit more interesting. Because like I said, the way they were setting this character up, he seemed to be inherently against the idea of what Migo was going for. And the way the movie ends, once again, his shift, it just does not feel very natural, and it just didn't really work for me as well. But for the most part, the writing didn't bother me all that much. It's pretty simple. It's definitely good messages for kids and things like that, and that's one of the reasons why I did enjoy the writing as much as I did. When it comes to the animation here is fucking gorgeous. There's so much detail just in the backgrounds and things like that. The fur especially, it looks very real. You can just go and touch it. It feels very tangible in that sense. The detail of both the Yeti world and the human world, the contrast between them, I think is definitely very strong. And I really enjoyed the animation a lot here. I think it's definitely very well done. And, I do think they did a good job with fleshing all that out. And in terms of the score, I did not know going in this movie that it was a musical. I actually had no idea that it was going to be one. And it's one of those movies where like it's kind of a musical and it's kind of not. Like there's 4 songs and eventually it stops being a musical. But the songs that are here are actually really fucking good. I enjoyed most of the songs in this. There's one here that I really was not a huge fan of. It was honestly kind of annoying. But other than that, I really enjoyed it a lot. However, the highlight, without a doubt, is this one rap song that Common has. And it's one of those things that it shouldn't work. It really shouldn't because it's so tonally different from all the other ones. But I got so into it. And it's so well set up. And I really loved, again, how that ended up becoming such a big part of the story. And I thought it was definitely a really great song. But again, considering how that song is done, where Common ends up going as a character just didn't really work for me as much. And I wish they could have done a little bit more with him. The editing to me, the film was well paced for the most part. Like I said, I think it was just a little too short. I would have enjoyed the movie more if it was maybe an hour or 40 something minutes, an hour and 30. It's just a little too short for this story. I just needed a little bit more there. And I don't think that the film quite reached its full potential. But of course, we got to get to the reason why Caden is here, and that's for LeBron James. And look, I will say, he does do a good job in this film. Nothing amazing. I don't really remember his character all that much, but he did do a good job for what he had here. What do you want to say?
Finally, I can actually fucking speak. Finally,
I mean, you said basically all you need to say.
I actually didn't. I have a lot more to say.
Well, then go ahead.
Jesus fucking Christ, Kevin. Okay, finally, I can talk about this fucking film. So here we fucking go. That was just my introduction, Kevin. God damn it. Anyway, so here we go. Okay, so I have some notes down here. So I'm just basically just gonna read off what I said. First off, I just want to talk about this fucking animation. I don't know what fucking film you saw, but while the animation is good, look for me, I think 2D animation is way better than 3D animation. That's just me. So like I'm more critical of 3D animation. And I'm sorry, but this 3D animation is nothing to me. It's like there's something special. There's something that stands out about it. I think the detail, it looks too like waxy to me. Like I don't see very much detail unless it's like really like close in on like the subject and stuff. And it's just nothing. Excuse me. It stood out. What did I just say here? I can't even remember my own notes. Oh. Also, your thing with like the musical point. Well, I said that I do like the Zendaya song and the Common song. I thought they were fine. Why are there songs in this movie to begin with? Because there's like only 4, and they happen like so far in between each other, and whenever they happen, it makes the movie feel awkward, and it feels like the tone.
I didn't feel that really. I enjoyed
it. It feels like the tone is like slowing down when it shouldn't be, and it just feels kind of out of place. Like I don't understand why this was a subpar musical. It was weird. And look, the reasons why I don't like most of these animated movies, like these like ones that are aimed for like kids, obviously, younger kids, is that because the character arcs are so fucking terrible. Like seriously, the one what's the main character in this one called again? Migo. What? Seriously, it's so what's gonna happen with this guy. It's just like, and look, I get it. It is just a fucking movie for kids, and they probably don't give a shit if the at the end of the day everything's gonna be fine. But like, for me, as someone who likes to see films and not know what's gonna happen, this is these why I don't like these films, because the character arcs are very, very weak because it's predictable what's going to happen. So when the characters evolve and stuff, and they do things that you don't think they will, but because they're changing as characters, interesting and stuff. So I like character arcs. I think character arcs are like the most important thing in a film, like one of the most important things. So when you have a weak one like this, and like Kevin said, this movie's extremely predictable. And I'm not someone that's like too big on like if the film's like predictable or not, but like this film is way too fucking predictable, even for a fucking kids film. And also this film was boring. Just for me, I think this film was incredibly fucking boring because of the characters just being weak, in my opinion. And really nothing visually wise that's like compelling to me. And yeah, I honestly, like I said, I forget a lot of this film. I only remember like the really key parts to it and the songs, basically. So yeah, there's really nothing that really like stood out to me, to be honest. And like I said though, my only real positives with this that I could say is that I did think the cast was good. I did think they did put a lot of effort into it, and they do work together well. And yeah, and I mean like like some of the animation. Well, I was generalizing it by saying that it was just quote unquote bad. There are some moments that do shine. Like the part I think looks the best is like this like cave scene.
Easily. That's shit is fantastic.
Yeah, like the shadow detail and stuff, and like the atmosphere, like that was cool. And I will say that like the world building and the dynamic between like the world of like the Yetis and then the human world, that was well done, I guess. And writing wise, there are good ideas presented here, and good lessons for kids, but the way they're executed could have been done a lot better. Just for me. But look, this is not like a film that like I I hate. Like, I just, it's just not for me. I don't like it. There's just so much here that I just didn't like. And it's nothing I'm ever gonna watch again. So yeah, that's all I really have to say. I'll just give my grade now because it's really all I have to say about this film. I'm just gonna probably give this like a 4 out of 10. You know, like, I'm not gonna go any lower because I'd be like, I hate it, and it's not that bad. It's just that, like, when I look at it, what is here is just not very good, and there's a few things that I really don't like.
Right.
But yeah, you know, I will say that the LeBron James, if he does not win the fucking Oscar for this, I am boycotting the Academy. The most emotional, most compelling, most thought-provoking, and the most emotionally, and the most just intense performance I have ever seen in my entire fucking life.
Oh yeah, it's not like there's not really much of anything to his character, but
it's not like he has like 20 lines, and most of them are like, "What are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do now? Let's do this. Let's do that." I mean, dude, she's always such a
Yes, he really chews up all the scenery, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting really wrapping it up here. Yeah, this film isn't really anything that special, but I do think it is well made for the most part. It does have good messages for kids. It does have a cast that I did overall really enjoy. And sure, the characters might not be the strongest, but I think the cast and the music and things like that really did elevate it for me. It's nothing amazing. It's nothing like, oh, you need to go out and see Smallfoot immediately. It's a must see, but I do think it is good for kids for sure. The kids in my audience really seem to enjoy it. I will say, one of the most well-behaved audiences for a kids movie I've seen the longest time. They weren't running around. They weren't jumping. They were actually really good. I was quite surprised. But either way, Smallfoot for me, it's nothing amazing. It's nothing that you absolutely need to rush out and see, but it does have some really great animation. It has some good songs in there, and it does have a good overall message for kids that sure you've seen done before, but the film does do a good job with telling its story overall, even if it is a little bit underwritten. And I am going to give Smallfoot overall a B-. So overall, guys, that's it for our review of Smallfoot. Let us know what you thought of this movie. Once again, thank you, Auburn Wonder, even if you didn't really have a lot to say here.
I had a lot to say. For a movie I don't give a shit about besides a fucking basketball player who's on the Lakers, and I'm a Celtics fan, and I like him for some fucking reason when I shouldn't. It's like, I don't know what to say,
Well, like, I actually, like, you didn't really remember it, and I had more, like, shit to say about that stuff, so, like,
So what? I still had a lot to say.
I know, but, like, it's not like...
Why are we arguing about this?
I don't know. But anyway, thank you, of course, for joining. But that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know what you thought of Smallfoot down below. Sorry this review is a little bit on the shorter side. Just didn't really have a ton to say about this one. But if you guys have seen Smallfoot, let us know what you did think about it. That's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Check out Auburn's channel as well. He does have a mixtape coming out really soon, right? When's it coming out?
Halloween, as we sit here in the quiet.
Yes, I definitely look forward to that. Should be really great. But that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you guys in my next video, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.